Welcome, everyone, to the latest edition of Trekking Across the Universe. My co-hosts tonight are Grudge, or Liz as she is known, and Aaron. Liz, how are you doing today? Tonight,
I'm doing
morning, whatever
great.
it is.
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Aaron, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. I just finished watching the episode, so I'm fresh
You're
for this.
I'm so glad you're fresh. So everyone, we've got a like. I'm assuming I think I know who this is from. It's from Elizabeth. Good for Elizabeth. Um, Tonight we are discussing the newest episode of Discovery, season 5, episode 3. I would say we're going through another storyline that every week something new happens, and we're going through a puzzle, which we know some people do not like puzzles or things, but I don't know. It's good. It's good. Liz, any overall feelings for this episode, or do you want to just go right for it?
I no, my overall feeling was my blood pressure was quite raised the good majority of the time. I absolutely do not like this new number one's attitude. It's like he thinks he's holier than thou and his way is the only way, and just it's very irritating, and I hope that he will eventually learn that Discovery is a whole different way of doing things. They're a different family and they look at things differently. Because if he doesn't settle down, I'm actually scared I won't continue to watch. I do not like him.
Yeah, and he is first officer now, so at least for now.
Yeah.
Do you think, since I love skipping around, so do you think at the end he kind of felt like maybe he needed to change his ways when Tilly was telling him what she did, or no?
Yeah, I think so. And I love how Tilly said, well, here are my 20 words. And she went over to like 21 or 22 words. But I think maybe it's starting to slowly sink in if he doesn't like fall back in the next episode to the same old ways.
Yeah. Since you saw it fresh, Aaron, what are your feelings on that and anything else that kind of stuck out at you?
I still feel like sort of echoing from my thoughts last episode in that he kind of, to me, he's kind of like a representative of like past Trek. Not to say that all Trek characters in the past are like that, but it does seem to be like Liz said that Discovery is a new way of thinking. They're a family. They have their own sort of behaviors, and he feels like a sort of relic coming into that. And I to me, that's how it comes across. And again, it came across in this episode where he's got his very doesn't get to know people. He analyzes people. He took those 20 words and worked out his own thoughts about how these people behave until he's like, no, you have to get to know people. And I feel like coming from a workplace that is also very male dominated, I feel like that I can see that in reality, that behavior of like, no, we don't need to discuss our feelings, like people just work, like so that was close to home for me, I feel like.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that. It was, yeah, I had troubles with it too, and I thought, but didn't he listen to what Burnham told him when she left? He didn't do anything that she said. Nothing.
I know, nothing.
Nothing. And when Tilly mentioned it, he just kind of,
brushed it off.
I'm above that, So,
yeah. I mean, who can get to know?
Go ahead, Aaron.
I was going to say, who can get to know? Oh, yeah, Aaron, go ahead.
Okay. I was just going to say, in terms of like Tilly, I preferred the way Tilly was written this week. In terms of like the last 2 episodes, I feel like she was like very sort of like old Tilly, like motor mouth, like a bit sort of all over the place, whereas like this Tilly to me is one that has like grown up and stood up to authority, and like Liz was saying again, the bit where she says her 20 words and then she hits 21 and she's like, oh well, that's my time, I'm gonna go. Yeah, I liked her characterization in this.
Okay, go ahead, Liz. Unless
I was
he
just
said
going to say,
everything that you wanted to say.
he pretty much said it. Only thing I was going to say is, how can anybody expect to get to know somebody like the one-on-ones were for in 30 seconds and 20 words? It's like, you'll never get to know them, and then the crew won't work well, and that could wind up being very detrimental in the end.
Yeah, it really does make me wonder if that's the way he really did act on his other ship, and they just tolerated it because that's what they were used to. That's the only thing I can think of. Because he certainly did what he wanted to on his ship. We found that out in the first couple of episodes.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That was the definite. So, but
and from like what we've heard, people on his ship responded to that. Like they were fine with the way he behaved as a captain.
Well, I guess he got things done.
Yeah.
But did his crew respect him or were scared of him?
I think they're probably scared of him.
Yeah, that's
I
what
certainly wouldn't respect him. Yeah.
Yeah, but what can you do? What can you do? People in the chat room, if you have any questions or comments or like to discuss something specific, the one thing that which was really nice I thought we got to go back to the Trill homeworld and see a little bit more of their things, and some of the things, it was really reminiscent of Deep Space Nine when they went to Trill.
I was thinking the same thing.
Because like the where all the symbiotes were, swimming around. It was just like it looked to me almost the same set, but maybe it's just I just don't remember. But it was very, very similar, and at least I thought so.
I thought so too.
Yeah, I agree. Watching that particular part, I was like, Deep Space Nine provided such a rich like tapestry of things to explore, like for the whole franchise, and I feel like Deep Space Nine's lore really has been brought out in Discovery, especially in the last while they've been in the future.
No, I would agree with that. But I actually saw one of the shows after Discovery that they interviewed Culver. What did I say right? When he had to play the Trill host, and he just said he just really enjoyed doing that, playing a different character. But I don't know if did you see that show with Will Wheaton after the Discovery of that episode, Liz, or no?
No, I didn't. I was meaning to, and I didn't. Normally I'll catch him.
Okay, but and it was, he basically said he had thought how he was going to react and act, and he didn't tell any of the cast what he was going to do. And when he filmed it the first time, he just went into this character that he had created without telling them, and just did it. I thought that was kind of cool. He just kind of surprised them and surprised. I don't think he told. I can't remember. I don't think he told really the director either. He just did what he thought might be good, and they went with it. So that was kind of cool. So,
well, I suppose that's the thing when you have a character that, like on a script page, that it's not like a person. So it's hard to, the only way that character can be described is by the actor's choice for it. So yeah, I thought he was great in it. I think it's exciting when an actor that we see all the time gets to play a different character. I'm sure don't know how many years they've been doing Discovery, but I'm sure it's very monotonous having to play the same.
Yeah, I think it's been
person all the time.
7 years, but it's been 5 seasons, but I think it's been over 7 years
Yeah.
because of delays and the pandemic and the writer's strike and the actor's strike and all of that. So that's a long time. That's a long time. So
one of the things I liked was when Michael was talking to Dr. Cobra, and it's like, she's like, do you remember every detail anyone's ever told you?
oh, that was
I'm
funny.
like, I thought that was funny.
And he said yes.
Uh-huh. He has a photographic memory too, if I remember correctly.
That could be. That could be. Aaron, did anything else in the show stick out to you, such as the fight scenes or?
What else? They seem to keep mentioning the Breen a lot, another Deep Space Nine connection, and I wonder if we're going to see the Breen in this season.
I missed that.
I think they mentioned it in the first episode, and then this one again. There's
what's going on with the Breen Hole world? Yeah, they had mentioned it.
Because we never see what the Breen look like, right? Like that's the gag, that they were in like the masks and stuff. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see.
Yeah.
If they're gonna realize that in some way.
Oh, that's right. They did mention, because that was mentioned when Sklaroo. That was a Freudian slip. Saru. That was one of my principles. Saru was in talking diplomacy stuff. Yeah, because I think they did mention the Breen. Yeah, that's true. Now I remember.
And there was also one of the delegates in that scene kind of looked like the snake reptile people from the first season of TNG, like the ones with the like big sort of fin things here. So yeah, I appreciate the fact that they're sort of going into the past and trying to realize these aliens, hopefully better than how they were originally intended.
Well, they have a little bit bigger budget now. Bigger budget and better ways to do makeup. And it's come a long way. It's come a long way. So,
one of the things I thought was kind of unique is the nervousness that Adria was having, because she was so nervous about seeing Gray. And it's like she could tell they hadn't really, been together for, what was it, 6 months, something like that.
Yeah,
and she could tell there was already like a drift in their relationship. There was something going on with that. And it came to be proven in the end, that they did break up, but at least they still stayed friends.
Yeah. But yeah, she saw it coming, and I'm, and she was so nervous, and other people didn't realize what was going on.
I know.
And Roger's favorite character, why can't I remember her name, saw it, and others did not. So poor Roger should be in this chat room and put her name in there. Yeah, the
are you talking engineer. About
No, the other engineer.
Yeah, Reno's character.
Yes. Yeah, so that was kind of cool.
Yeah, they only had her in there for like, what was it, 1 line?
I think 3. But
3, okay.
Yeah, but she's a very busy actress, and she's a comedian.
Oh, she is.
So
I know.
I did read that they put her in as much as she had time for. But it was nice seeing her in this episode. So
I watched an interview with her, and apparently she really struggles to like learn lines and like technobabble. So there's a lot of like lines that, or like ad libs that she does. And I feel like that's the type of thing that sort of makes that character that it sounds like a real person.
It's great.
Oh,
it's
definitely.
Great. Yeah, no, I would agree with that. I don't think I could do the technobabble, and I am terrible at memorizing lines. Anybody that's worked with me on a fan film knows that. That's why I try not to be in front of the camera, because I do not remember lines at all. Even if I've studied them for 3 weeks, I get there and I go, I can't remember anything. Oh, just read it over 4 times. I said, I read it over 150 times. And it's never come out right. So, yeah.
What did you guys think of Mr. Devon and how he was, I wouldn't say interrogating Saru, but kind of letting him know that he's not really appropriate for Trina?
I think he was doing his job. Just, why he was hired, to make sure that everything goes right in her administration. So he was just saying what he thought, and I'm sure he's told her that too.
Well, she says that at the
Well,
end,
yeah,
doesn't she?
she said that,
He
yeah.
was just doing, yeah.
But yeah, it's diplomats, it's politics. I mean, that was it. I mean, it is politics, and he was right. That's what they do. Everything is, what it looks like. So.
I feel like there's always a Vulcan character that you just want to punch in the face, though, and this was that character for the season.
Oh yeah,
it really was. It really was. But what can you do? So
yeah, really.
Anything else? Anybody in the chat room want us to bring up something in the show? Oh, yeah, we've got some viewers on X. If you're on X, you cannot make a comment. We're so sorry, but we can't see them even if you do. So if you want to come over to NDB Media, let me see if I can put up the one of the banner. You can come over and throw your comments at us before we go off. This is going to be one of our shorter ones than we normally do. Here you can go on our YouTube at ndbmedia.net, spelled out /streams, and then you can see our live broadcast there.
Did you guys notice Maul was in the Trill Holy Room water area?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was she there the whole time, or just at the end?
I think she was there the whole time.
You think it was the whole time?
I think it was the whole time.
And did you notice that she slipped a tracker on?
Yeah.
That was interesting. I didn't pick that up until the second time I watched it. I missed that the first time. I go, what is she doing? And then I looked at it. When I looked at it again, I went, oh, that's what it was. So I missed it the first time.
I kept looking at those creatures, and it's like they reminded me of a cross between a gigantic, almost fluorescent or see-through fly and bee.
Yeah, they were pretty funky.
Yeah.
We just recently started rewatching Lower Decks, and in the first episode of Lower Decks, there's like a monster that looks kind of similar, with like it's sort of like spider legs, but then it has this sort of fly face.
Yeah. And, oh, speaking of Lower Decks, did you
hear
that?
Don't say it. I did.
Okay.
Did.
Okay.
We're not discussing that right now until the end of the show, because I'll get really depressed.
Okay.
Did you hear it, Aaron, that what we're not going to discuss until the end of the show?
Yes, I'm devastated. That's why I started watching it again.
The news that shall not be named.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was not a good thing. But hey, at least there's one more season. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, as soon as I heard it, I went back. I'll just say it now. And I went and I looked at the crossover episode with Strange New Worlds after I heard that. And I went, okay, I'm going to go look at the crossover episode. But anyway, going back to Discovery, I thought it was hysterical when I can't remember what Culver's new character was, but when he set them up to either get killed or they were going to survive and flourish. And there he was lying on a rock looking up at the stars when they were all finished. I started laughing. I really did. I went, oh, this is just too much.
Yep. And his whole thing was to find out how they respond.
Yeah. That was a good defense mechanism, and it was different to the previous episode's one, which is good too.
Yeah. Well, any other comments, anybody, or we want to close this one down and wait until next week for episode 4?
I think that's pretty much the highlight. Yeah.
Those are the highlights. Yeah.
I feel like overall this was like it was an all right episode. Like it I guess was the natural thing that after like the two episode premiere, it would be like fairly low key.
And it was a filler. I mean, it was a filler. It was going through the process of finding out clues and everything. So, but yeah, you're right. That was about it. But now since it's pretty much the end, if you haven't heard, Lower Decks season 5 will be its final season. So we are all devastated about that. We all love Lower Decks here. So if you hadn't heard, you heard it from us. But I have a feeling all the fans have sadly heard already. If you do, so next week, next Saturday, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, we will be reviewing episode 4. Hopefully Roger will be back. He's lost his voice today. And I couldn't even tell who it was calling me on the phone. I mean, it was that bad. Oh, yeah. Now he'll be mad I just gave him a demonstration.
Lord.
I mean, I could barely understand him. I mean, it was bad. So, but hopefully he will be back next week and we'll go off with that. So, everyone, thank you for coming. On behalf of Aaron and Liz, we will see you next week. Have a great time, everyone. Bye-bye.
See ya.
Bye.